Hi, I'm Joe Theismann, world champion quarterback and entrepreneur. I have the pleasure this morning of having a chance to visit with Brad Adams. And Brad, you say you're an entrepreneur and a consultant to different businesses. How did you get started in the business?
Well, I had the opportunity very early in my career to be mentored by Peter Drucker, and that gave me a real interest in business. And at 26, I became a CEO for the first time, and after that, an entrepreneur myself for 34 years. Really, because I think entrepreneurs, most of us are infected by an entrepreneur virus. It's just something that it's an infection that's in a lot of our blood.
Well, becoming a CEO at such a young age, what was the greatest challenge, or what are a couple of the greatest challenges you faced being so new into the business world and then all of a sudden being responsible for so many people?
Well, really looking back, the biggest challenge is that you don't know what you don't know. And so I was a lot smarter when I was 26 than I am now, or at least so I thought.
Right. It's funny, knowing what you don't know is one of the things that I talk about when it comes to leadership. Being able to surround yourself with the right kind of people, being able to bring the right kind of people in so that they can get your message across. That's why I think in the world of football, which is the world I basically live in, is the great coaches are also great teachers.
Yeah.
What do you try and teach entrepreneurs or people that want to get out into an entrepreneurial environment?
Well, we look at it in a different way, really. I think one of the things that's really frustrated me is that most entrepreneurs or people starting out are bombarded with a lot of misinformation. And they're
like how? What kind?
Well, they're taught really what I would call the nits and lice of the business rather than the fundamentals and the important things. If you go, for instance, to the SBA website, and a lot of people would if they're Googling starting a business,
right?
They're going to be told to start out and hire a lawyer, file the right papers, a whole bunch of legalistic things that are really putting the cart before the horse,
right?
In terms of what's important in starting a business.
Well, what do you recommend as opposed to not going through all the paperwork, so to speak? What do you recommend to someone who wants to start a business, who wants to get involved in an entrepreneurial way?
Well, it really, with everybody, it always starts out with their story. Everybody's got a story. All entrepreneurs have a reason, some drive behind what it is they're doing, and so that's really the place to start out. Is what is their drive? But one of the biggest mistakes, because we're talking about mistakes,
sure,
is that one of the things that I tell people, or that people hear, is this old expression, follow your passion and the money will follow.
Right.
And so they have the drive, they have the story, but if your passion is collecting lint, for instance, the money is not likely to follow you there.
What a great analogy. So don't everybody go out there start collecting lint, okay? It's not that we can't make money in lint, but there may be other ways. You talk about a story. What's your story? Tell us why and how. How do you become a CEO at 26?
Well, that was
a story.
It was a long and winding story, and unfortunately, not out of a good beginning. But my dad, who had a business, died when I was a sophomore in college.
Wow!
And so I actually went from being what I call the typical college goof, who I had a grand idea. I think I was going to be a professor and teach English, and that was kind of my idea, my not very well formed idea,
yeah,
of what I was going to do for a living. And then my dad died, and I really got thrust into a business at 19. And my dad's business was in Connecticut. I was going to school in California, so I ended up flying back to Connecticut once a month for board meetings and really getting involved, and changed my major to economics because that was the only thing that was available, and just got the bug. I really just loved being involved in a business and went from there.
And then now you basically help people with businesses. You talk about being a consultant, working with people to give them a chance to be able to be successful in business. What are some of the challenges that you run into now in trying to help people get where they want to go?
Well, entrepreneurs are faced with all sorts of challenges. I mean, the world is, especially today's world, isn't in their favor. They're getting it from all angles. They've got customers who want, what they want, when they want it, for nothing.
You mean like now?
Yeah,
I want it
and
now,
now.
immediately.
I have a friend who wrote a book named Free, Perfect, and Now, because that's that really does describe what the customer is looking for, and what our objective is. We can't give it free, but we certainly want to give them what they want. Mm-hmm. So they're getting from customers, they've got suppliers, they've got employees, they've got the community that has an expectation, they've got family pressures. They have, these days in particular, government putting a lot of restrictions on business.
What do you recommend to someone who is inundated with so many different distractions, so many things pulling at them? How do you get them to focus on the task at hand, the job they're supposed to do?
Well, that's really the whole trick is to take a step back, because an entrepreneur is a leader. They're a leader of a business, but before they can lead a business, they have to lead themselves. Mm-hmm. So really, what I always work with people is to just take a step back and master themselves and where they are and where they're coming from.
You have to understand who you are.
Yeah.
I think, it's interesting, and as much speaking as I've been able to do, and I find the relationship between the world of sports, the world of business, and our own personal lives all parallel one another. The principles in each of them carry over, and it's a cross-section of all those businesses. Is it hard to get people to understand that they have to look at themselves? Are people fearful of what they're going to see if they happen to look inside?
I think so, yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest challenges. And I mentioned I work with entrepreneurs, both right. Consulting and coaching. But the biggest challenge is, when I say entrepreneurs, what I really mean is serious entrepreneurs. Right. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who aren't serious.
Yeah, those are people that just want to do something, but they really don't know why.
They don't know why, and they're not willing to, as you were suggesting, they're really not willing to look at themselves right. and take a serious look at what do they have to be in order for their business to become what the business needs to be.
Do you find that there are more and more people wanting to get into businesses of their own, or are people generally content to be a part of a business and not necessarily willing to step outside what I call the box, step outside that silo that's been created? Yeah,
there's an awful lot of that. I mean, there are certain people that have that drive, that inner drive, and then there's people that don't. They, maybe they lost their job, so they have to do something, or they're looking for something to do, but they really don't have the drive. Or like you, for example, the situation that you wound up. You're a college student. Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're involved in a business and you wind up running the business. Again, I go back to the age of 26 because it's so interesting that you were so young. Did you get a lot of pushback from the people that were in the business because of your youth?
I wouldn't say pushback, but it was a funny situation in that it was a family business. And I had grown up, my dad worked every weekend, so I was in the office with him on weekends. And the guys, so I become CEO of this business. And, the guys on the floor, the rank and file guys would come in and they'd say, I remember when I'd come in on Monday and the machine was all screwed up because you were
operating.
You were playing with the machinery as a little kid. I was, just doing all sorts of things. So there's certainly, you do need to gain credibility in my particular case. There's a lot of people looked at me as a little kid,
yeah.
Both literally as a little kid and 26 as a little kid in running a business.
Right. Well, if people want to get a hold of you, tell them how they can find you.
I can be reached at www.bradadams.com, BRADADAMS.com. That's my website, and it goes from there.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Joe.
Terrific. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You betcha. Thank you.
Thank you.